What if a single handshake on a mountain in Switzerland could reshape the Horn of Africa's geopolitics? Israel became the first recognized state to formalize diplomatic relations with Somaliland, and the world watched a public meeting unfold at the World Economic Forum in Davos. On the surface, a handshake. Geopolitically, a signal decades in the making. This is not ceremony. This is strategy, and the world is watching. The world is changing quietly, not always through speeches or headlines, but through trade routes, strategic alignments, and invisible lines of power. Horn Lens explores the geopolitics, diplomacy, and economic forces shaping the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea, and how they connect to the wider world. This is Horn Lens, where the Horn of Africa meets the world. In Davos, Switzerland, a single handshake between Israeli President Isaac Herzog and Somaliland's President Irro sent shockwaves across Africa. This was no ordinary diplomatic gesture. It was the public birth of a new alliance. Israel's recognition of Somaliland's sovereignty, announced just weeks earlier, shattered decades of diplomatic inertia. For Somaliland, it was long-awaited validation. For Israel, a strategic move in a volatile region. The world, once indifferent to Somaliland's story, was suddenly forced to pay attention. This act promises to reshape trade, security, and alliances across Africa and the Middle East. The questions now: how will Somalia respond? What will the African Union do? And which global powers will follow Israel's lead? The Davos handshake wasn't an end, but a beginning. It marks a new chapter in a complex story, with consequences that will ripple for years. The world must now choose sides in a rapidly changing Horn of Africa. To grasp this moment, you must understand Somaliland, a nation that's existed in the shadows since 1991. As Somalia collapsed, Somaliland declared independence, building its own government, currency, and security forces. It's been a functioning democracy, stable and peaceful, yet denied international recognition. Locked out of global institutions, its people have persevered, forging a path of self-reliance. While Somalia struggled, Somaliland thrived on its own. This record of stability is why Israel's recognition is so historic. For Somaliland, it's the breakthrough they've waited for over 30 years. The Davos meeting was a diplomatic masterstroke. President Irro's unannounced presence allowed Somaliland to control the narrative. When he and President Herzog appeared together, it was a public celebration of a new partnership. Herzog's post on X confirmed the formal recognition Somaliland had sought for a generation. The talks focused on security, technology, and economic development, areas where Israel excels. For Somaliland, it's a gateway to investment and expertise. For Israel, it's a bold move to expand influence in Africa. The Davos meeting marked the start of a tangible, mutually beneficial alliance. Somaliland's geography is its greatest asset. Its coastline hugs the Gulf of Aden, overlooking the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for global trade. 10% of world shipping, including vital oil supplies, passes through these waters. For Israel, securing this route is a national priority. By partnering with Somaliland, Israel gains a strategic foothold at Berbera port. Berbera, with international investment, is poised to become a major logistics hub for the region. Israeli technology and investment could transform it into a world-class port. This partnership isn't charity. It's a calculated investment in security and influence. For Israel, Somaliland offers strategic depth in a turbulent region. For Somaliland, it's a chance to unlock its economic potential. Israel's recognition of Somaliland sparked immediate outrage from Somalia, which called it a violation of sovereignty. The African Union warned it could set a dangerous precedent for separatist movements. Ethiopia, balancing its own interests, stayed silent, watching and waiting. Egypt, a rival to Ethiopia and ally of Somalia, is expected to oppose the move. The Horn of Africa's alliances are shifting, with new lines drawn and old ones tested. The Israel-Somaliland partnership has turned a regional issue into a global debate. Somaliland's breakthrough was decades in the making. Its leaders focused first on building a stable, democratic state, contrasting sharply with Somalia's chaos. They launched a global campaign, making their case in capitals and think tanks worldwide. Somaliland argued it wasn't secessionist, but a restoration of sovereignty. With limited resources, it built informal ties, opened trade offices, and proved its value as a security partner. The decision to engage Israel was bold, a calculated pivot after years of blocked progress at the African Union. Somaliland needed a powerful, unconventional ally willing to defy the status quo. By aligning with Israel, it gambled that recognition from a global player would outweigh backlash. This was a shift from patient waiting to proactive statecraft. Somaliland declared it was ready to shape its own destiny. The world is now forced to respond. The Davos meeting catapulted Somaliland onto the world stage. Once ignored, it's now a topic in major foreign ministries. Countries must decide, follow Israel, oppose, or risk irrelevance. President Irro's outreach at Davos signaled Somaliland's ambition to attract investment and forge new partnerships. The Israeli recognition acts as diplomatic insurance, encouraging others to engage. There's talk of Somaliland joining the Abraham Accords, further integrating it into a network of economic and security cooperation. The debate has shifted. It's no longer if Somaliland should be recognized, but when and by whom. Israel's support cracked the wall of indifference. Now, Somaliland must widen that crack and build a coalition for lasting recognition. The journey from obscurity to legitimacy is underway. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads. Somaliland and Israel are set to deepen their partnership, with a possible state visit and concrete agreements on the horizon. The world is watching, forced to react to this new reality. Full recognition from the West or African Union may take time, but the diplomatic landscape has shifted. Regional powers, Ethiopia, Egypt, Somalia, will shape what comes next. The Horn is now a chessboard for global competition. The Israel-Somaliland breakthrough proves smaller actors can become indispensable. After decades in waiting, Somaliland is now in motion. The world, once indifferent, is paying attention. The Davos Handshake signaled the start of a new, unpredictable chapter for the region. The Horn of Africa is where power meets strategy. Horn Lens brings you the perspective the world is watching. Subscribe now.